What's up, docs? I got a lot of complaints, and by that I mean one, that I wear the same two hats every video. So I thought I'd try something a little different today. People also say that they're not very visually interesting. Well, are you interested now? No, not really. I didn't think so. Anyway, it's about 100 degrees today, and frankly, I don't want to wear this any longer than I have to, so let's just get straight into the video. As much as I love wearing masks, it's just a little too warm today. Oh Lord, I cannot see my notes at all. Well, that's fine, because I pretty much know everything that I was gonna say anyway, because I'm super smart, and also this one's about visual hallucinations, so I can just do this one off the dome like usual. In case you haven't watched any of the previous videos or read my about section, I have schizophrenia. I have a number of other things as well, but that's like the most prevalent, I guess you could say. Definitely has the the biggest impact. Not necessarily a positive one either, quite the opposite. Anyway, I have various visual hallucinations. I have other types of hallucinations as well, but for the purpose of this one, we're just going to stick to the visual. And I don't really want to like make this whole channel about like my personal experiences or just the kind of stuff that usually gets covered in schizophrenia related content. So I'm not going to be doing like, you know, probably not one of like every type of symptom I have or anything like that. But I thought I'd make at least a few more personal videos that aren't, you know, just ones that aren't necessarily about a specific subject that doesn't just pertain to myself, or one that's not just a complete joke like that map video that everyone watched for some reason. I don't know why people watch that. Okay, well, we're about a couple minutes in, so that's enough preamble. Let's get straight to it. So the main visual hallucination I have is I see objects moving, but I don't mean from like location to location, not from like, say, this over here to over here. More of just like they're sort of like independently moving, but in the same spot. They're like furniture will kind of like bend. Like say you have a TV stand. This is the stand. This is the TV, I guess. The middle will like go down, and then the wood like on the side of the stand will like go up, kind of like a V. Or usually, I say usually, always, the walls are like moving in the sense that they look as if they are breathing, or if they, or as if they are bulging out. I even have a short story that got published called "The Walls Are Breathing," named after that very effect that I experience. Well, I say effect, whatever you want to call it. So that's the case with like objects. They can also like, for example, like words in books that I read. I like to read a lot, but it has become very difficult because the letters will kind of shift around, or sometimes even the words will come off the pages. Not all of them, but just maybe like one or two. So I often have to read pretty slowly, and I have to go over things, usually at least twice, maybe 3 times, which, you know, thankfully I'm like out of my master's program, but man, that really sucked when I was getting my master's degree in writing, and also even, it happened to a lesser extent in undergrad, the thing with the words moving. So my reading wasn't as impaired back then, but still a challenge. Reading is unfortunately very hard, which sucks because I actually love doing it. But hey, you know, I've gotten used to things, so it's not as huge of a deal. That said, I'm trying to think if there's any other like moving or like objects moving examples I give. Sometimes they do move from place to place. I've had that happen a few times, but that very rarely happens. Let me just glance down. I can't really see all this fucking thing. Oh yeah, the floor too. Yeah, the floor will kind of move as well. Sometimes just in kind of like a wavy, almost like watery way. Certain types of flooring have more of an impact on that than others. I don't know why that is, but say like usually carpet can kind of get to me, but not as much as I think solid flooring. That one usually is more like kind of like doing that warpy type movement, which just makes it harder for me to like balance or walk on if I'm looking down. And in general, I kind of have some like balance issues, probably largely due to the fact that everything all around me is moving all the time. And I used to get pretty like almost like a seasickness. It doesn't happen as much unless I'm like book shopping, for example, or I'm at the library where like things are all in rows and like the words are moving around on the books or coming off the books and different colors are going everywhere. And then if it's not very well organized, that makes it even harder. So then I'm getting like nauseous and, you know, the stomach's not feeling well, I'm dizzy. And so that can be a pretty miserable experience. Same with like anything like that. Like it could be like, I don't really go physically shopping for video games anymore, but when I would do that, or sometimes it can be a problem when like I'm at a restaurant, let's say, I need to order from a menu, and especially ones where it's like you're standing in a line and you need to like look up, or you're in a drive-through and you're trying to read a menu that's farther away. Very hard for me because the lines can kind of get all mixed up and I just have a hard time reading and even sort of mentally processing what I'm trying to read. I can get brain fog quite a bit. Anyway, that's enough about that type. I've got like a few more listed here. I don't want to ramble too much about each individual one. This other one I have hasn't happened for, well, okay, it happened like a month and a half ago, but or not even. But for a while, it had not really happened. It only happened like a few times or so before, and that was that I would see this other version of myself wearing, usually wearing a red jacket. I actually have the red jacket over here. I'll show you. I don't know if I should look at it too much. That might maybe trigger it happening more. So some of mine I've kind of figured out certain things that make them worse. I don't really know though, but I don't mind. Yeah, it's this one here. I used to wear this one a lot. Very good actually in the winter. Or like in fall on certain days. Anyway, I actually might start wearing that again. Well, maybe I shouldn't. You know, I don't know. That might make it worse. Anyway, I would see myself like walking around, usually like coming towards me, and sometimes it'd be like very pale, or I do remember when I was working at Walmart, it had a, well, I don't think it was necessarily at night. You have to remember these things don't necessarily conform to any sort of like logic or like reality or whatever. So it wasn't some sort of bladed thing. That time it was wearing, actually no, that time it was wearing my black, I actually have that right next to it, my black winter coat, and it was a red beanie was what it was, but usually it would wear the red jacket. And sometimes would see it like come out of like a mirror, or like start to, not like fully, but like it may be like, kind of like partially out, like shoulder, arm, head, but not like the whole upper body. That happened, I think, twice. Normally if it's like the mirror, it's more of like the mirror, my image in it is not necessarily matching what I'm doing. It's not actually mirroring the things I'm doing. So, oh yeah, but the doppelganger one, yeah, that's pretty much it with that one. Just really kind of, that one in particular really creeps me out. I think it's probably understandable. But I don't know, I can be kind of nonchalant about it now because so many of these things have happened to me so much over the years. I'm 25 now. I got, well, closer to 26 at this point, but I'm just 25 right now, and I think I got diagnosed when I was 23, maybe 22, and then, but they had really started when I was 19, although I do recall some symptoms occurring when I was a teenager, and I can remember at least one vividly when I was a child. So, but anyway, so about like 5 or 6 years for the most part. This has been sort of stuff's been going on, and I'll get into maybe some of the other symptoms another time. But let's see. Okay, so oh yeah, and then I guess this one's kind of comparable. It is the classic, like, infamous shadow people, or like shadowy figures. I need to like reread on that. I don't necessarily know why that one is so common, but I've seen and read about that one quite a bit. Usually it's just like in the corner of my eyes, or like kind of halfway in my vision. Now sometimes I have seen them like dead on, and they can be like kind of moving from place to place. I remember back again when I used to work at like Walmart, they would like run kind of from like one aisle to the next, or like sometimes I'd see them outside my house. Usually they were moving. Sometimes they'd be stationary though, and those tended to be pretty fleeting though. I mean, I would see quite a bit, but each individual like instance was pretty quick, so like kind of high frequency, but each one that I saw didn't last that long. And then I would also see animals. Well, that still happens, and the shadow people one that happened kind of recently, but not for the most part. That one doesn't really happen much anymore. But the animal one, it can be anything really, I guess. But for the most part, it's like either like my cat, or that started with this like black dog. I remember when I worked at a pet supply store, that was the first time that happened. Or it might have been, that was one of the first times anyway, because I lived in a different apartment back then, and I also had like a hallucination of a black dog like running up and like jumping at me and trying to bite me. But yeah, that happened, I know, at that pet supply store. And no, it wasn't an actual, it was a hallucination. There wasn't a black dog at the pet supply store. And then sometimes I'll like birds flying at me or near me, and like, or like sometimes like deer. I think that happened. I know that happened once, maybe twice. So, but that one's not really that big of a deal. I mean, the dog trying to attack me a couple times, that was not a pleasant experience. But for the most part, it's like, that one's not really an issue. And really, the objects moving, like I said, I've gotten used to that. So while it does still cause me problems, it's really not that bad, to be honest with you. Doppelganger one is very creepy, or it can be anyway, most of the time. But I mean, it's not like, like other people have either similar things or just things that are way worse. I guess like some things affect people differently is what I'm trying to say. So some people have a lot worse experiences with these types of visual hallucinations, and other people have ones that are much more persistent, or rather like more severe ones that are much more persistent and like distressing. So I don't want to like garner sympathy or detract in any way either from what those people experience, other people with schizophrenia, or just to experience psychosis in general. So yeah, for me, I obviously have a lot of difficulties with my many symptoms that I have, not just with this illness, but other ones I have as well. But it's really not, the visual ones, I guess, aren't that huge of a deal. I mean, let's see. Oh yeah, now this one hasn't happened for quite a while. I used to get this one. It usually happened when I was in very crowded places, like grocery stores, but it could happen anywhere, where people's faces would either just like change, they'd kind of just sort of alter themselves, or they would have like the wrong face entirely. Like it'd be people I know who either just did not have their face, or they had like the face of someone else I knew. Like there was one time where, well, I guess I shouldn't say who. I don't want to say like what person's face it was. Actually, never mind. I actually don't want to dwell on that one too much either, because that one actually was pretty well, when it would happen, like usually it was obviously kind of friggin' scary, but the one time in particular was really bad when I was at work and it happened. And I just, yeah, I don't think I should necessarily, like, it doesn't like bother me that much, but I can kind of feel, like, I'm kind of reliving it a little. I feel my, like, trying not to let my heart rate go up or, you know, breathe, like, keep my breath steady and everything, you know. Don't want to, yeah, like, kind of put myself back through that. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not like a huge deal now, you know, it's over, and I haven't had that one, and I think that was a couple years ago, so, yeah, maybe on a separate occasion. I mean, we're already like 15 minutes in, I probably don't need to be getting thrown back into really intense and like stressful situations, you know. Okay, I have one more, and then like a bonus one that's like really weird. This one's the bonus one's pretty goofy. So oh, did I miss one up here? Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, so I kind of similar to the other ones with people. I sometimes would see just regular people running around. Like I do remember one time I saw someone like recording me, and then they went behind like a I think it was like a clothing rack, and then they were just gone. And so yeah, sometimes people be kind of just running around doing weird stuff. And then I remember the first time I ever hallucinated like another person was in the same apartment where I saw that black dog. Oh geez, I just so one just happened right now. I don't know what that was weird. Okay, well, you caught that on camera. Did the air do that? Or I thought I saw someone. I mean, I know there's not someone, but I don't know if maybe the air conditioning just made the shirt move a little, or if I was pretty sure I just saw someone in the. Well, now I'm like doubting myself. I don't know what just happened there. I thought I saw like something or someone move, but anyway, that actually, maybe I'll do a video on that too, where like sometimes I kind of have a way of like convincing myself that something didn't happen, or sometimes even that I don't have the illness, or I start doubting it, you know. Even though I have so many experiences that like I don't know how I could doubt at this point, but sometimes I really stop and think like, okay, did that actually happen, or was that just something like I dreamed about, or that I imagined, or I started thinking like, no, there's no way I could have like had those like hallucinations, or there's no way like that where I just saw a person, like that must have just been a shirt moved, which how do you mistake a shirt moving for seeing a person there? But sometimes they do happen really fast, so it is easy to get confused. It's like your brain doesn't really have time to process, especially if you're, you know, what I'm doing where you're trying to talk and do stuff and you're wearing a stupid mask. Anyway, yeah, and then there was like, so there was a person just like in the corner the first time I ever saw like another person, and they were just, well, actually, there's a SpongeBob quote that goes well with this, that where Patrick says, "He's just standing there, menacingly." That was basically what happened, but like, it was like really weird because, and while this may appeal to some people, trust me, it was very like just creepy. It was like a naked like woman just standing in the corner of my bedroom and staring at me, but like this was when I had, I don't know what I was sick with, but I had like a really bad fever, and when I get sick, particularly if I have a fever, I start to get, like my hallucinations get a lot worse. So, yeah, that, I wasn't able at all to get out of bed. One of the rare times I missed work. So I couldn't get out of bed, and this fever was just killing me, and then I just was seeing this person in the corner, and obviously it like freaked me out at first, but then I think I kind of rationalized it because I didn't know, obviously, at that point, because that was back, that one happened in like January of 2020, I think. So I didn't know I had, you know, schizophrenia yet. So, and you kind of try to like rationalize things or find find ways to explain things. And so the, I guess, rational part of my brain just thought like, oh, okay, my fever is like really high and I'm super sick. Like I'm basically, like almost like a mirage. Like I'm just seeing things because of this. And I was I think I really was kind of in like a delirious state. Uh, it was really bad. I was really sick. I probably should have went to a hospital or had someone to help me, but I was completely alone. And that was, yeah, that one was very bad. And yeah, I just sort of rationalized that, like, oh, I just have a high fever and I'm just kind of like seeing things. Anyway, now for the bonus one before this video goes on way too long, which it kind of already has. Oh, did you get to see my terrible handwriting? I was born left-handed, but got trained to be right-handed, but my right-handed handwriting never really got that good. And now I'm too far in life where I just trying to write with the left hand is just, I don't know, not really worth the effort. Anyway, the bonus one, this is a very bizarre one that happened to me like a month ago or thereabout. I had this one where there was just like gaping hole in my bed, and inside the hole was this like big like salamander running around in circles like on the edges of the hole, like kind of on the inside, going around the perimeter, and farther down you could see the sky, and there were like these threads going everywhere. And like this was one of the times where like I was just kind of astonished. Like it was like so weird. It was this easily, I think it'd be the weirdest one I've ever had, and I was just kind of in awe. I couldn't even be like freaked out, and definitely not neutral. Just like, because that's kind of how I've gotten with a lot of these days, is where I'm just sort of like, I don't have much of a reaction anymore. And even I think like therapists have commented on how like it doesn't sound like I have too much of a reaction to things that people would normally probably have quite a big reaction to. I guess that's just what happens when you get exposed to this kind of stuff all the time for years. But anyway, yeah, that one was just really strange. I don't want it to happen again, but it was pretty damn silly. Oh yeah, there's like that time. Well, that time was more like the corner of the camera. I don't know. Maybe the area is moving the clothes or something, or maybe it's because of my moving objects hallucination thingy. But I'm saying that. But or probably the mask is screwing with me too. Anyway, let's hurry up and end this. Yeah, that one was very weird. And now that I'm thinking about like weird, okay, wait, I have an idea. Like, all right, I need to do like I should do like a parody video where, because I'm pretty much always, I guess, technically in psychosis, or at least experiencing symptoms. I should do one where I'm just like, because I had this one, I forgot about these, a couple times where I hallucinated like a monster. They were different. One was like this fucking like eyeball thingy looking over my bed, and then the other one was like this kind of like the shadow people, just this big like shadow thing, and I kicked that thing's ass. Like it attacked me when I was in bed. Okay, well, like I know it's not real, so I didn't like, I can't really gloat about kicking its ass because it's not like it actually existed, but like I fucking threw hands with that thing. I whooped the shit out of him. So like, what if I just like, I should just make a parody video where it's like, oh, I'm in psychosis and I'm like doing like fucking like WWE moves, like I do like a DDT or like swanton bomb onto like my bed or something. Or it's like a Three Stooges like almost type bit or something. I don't know, just like slapstick comedy. And then maybe I'm just like fucking trashing, like I won't actually trash the stuff I care about, but just like get like random junk that I have and put it in the room, just start knocking shit over and breaking things. And then at the end, I would just be like, oh, ha, 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 I'm not actually in psychosis, but like I am because I always am, but not like in that way. Well, I would obviously deliver it funnier than that, but I'm just explaining what it would be. And since no one, we're at like the early days of this channel, and no one don't really have that many subscribers. People won't be in the know. Just you people who watch this one will know, but other people will get thrown for a loop. Yep, okay, well, we're about to go 25 minutes. I think I've talked about this enough. thank you for watching. Leave a comment what SpongeBob character should it be this time. Incorporate friggin' how about Mrs. Puff? I don't think we've done Mrs. Puff yet. Alright, and work Mrs. Puff into your comments somehow, however you want to do that. Alright, goodbye.